Hello guys and welcome to an episode in Minecraft. Sheep, hello, friendly. Okay, so yeah, hello guys and welcome to an episode of Minecraft, and today under the request of my friends I am going to be doing a video on redstone. So to start off with, I've sort of cleared out the inventory from what you start off with and turned into what I generally use. So I've got a redstone torch, so I can power stuff and make gates and latches and all that funky stuff. The wire to convert all the power, I guess you would say. Repeater to extend the power and to do some other funky stuff. The two different types of pistons to help along with building stuff. My building block of choice, so it depends. I just generally build with iron. You can use any block, or you can like colour code and stuff. You can be funky and build with diamond. Glowstone and 2 slots empty in case you want to use them for glass if you don't want power to go through, or rails or levers, glowstone, buttons. So yeah, I'm using Dooku Craft, so it depends on what Dooku Craft texture light, I think, I'm not sure. So yeah, depending on what one you want to use, this is it. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to use redstone, just a very minor level. And in the series, I hope to teach everybody how to use redstone. So let's start off with the first most useful one, the redstone torch. So I'm not going to be showing you how to make it, because you would discover half of the. But yeah, this is just going to be for creative purpose only stuff, so you don't have to build it. So redstone torch, it powers items, well, it powers redstone, and it directly powers pistons. Don't know why I put that there. And doesn't matter where, as long as it's around that redstone torch in that sort of area, it will power it. So yeah, simple. There's your, yeah, that's basically all you ever need to know. But it has some different properties when we start placing it. So meanwhile, the exact same glowstone, it sort of does this formation type thing. It can climb, don't want to use that, it's a bad example. It can climb blocks, it can go down, but it can only climb if it has a direct route to it. So when there's that, what we climb, and so it can only do it if this block is air. And yeah, it creates this. Although it does change, for example, when you got this, when you have pistons and some other blocks as well. I'm not sure if a half slabs do it, but there will be fixed in 1.3. It can still pass through without directly powering the piston. So yeah, it has some weird properties with glowstone, but I'll tell that later on. And that's why it's there. So yeah, glowstone is always one. Glowstone is such a useful block when you discover how to use it. Repeaters. Extend it, so by default redstone wire goes on for, I think it's 12 blocks. And yeah, I'm doing the zigzag pattern because when you go like that, it powers it. Oh yeah, it does change it. It creates that gap and it just skips it, and what I'm trying to do is just drain out the power. So that if you can see here, it has no power coming through and it dies around here. So I'm going to place a repeater in, and there we go. You can also set the delay, so how long it takes for power to dissipate and to dissipate. So see, it takes longer. And this is all done in ticks. So I think it's 0.1 second equals a tick or something like that. So 1 tick is basically instant. 2 tick, there we go, someone's sending me messages in Mumble, is a little bit slower. And then same for 3 ticks. And then 4 ticks. There's a way of creating 1 tick pulses, I'll do that in a different video, and 0 tick pulses, which is some weird things. So yep, let's just clear up all this. Oh, for God's sake. I also set up, because they've also introduced this new option, which I never realised, but it's really handy. My friend showed it to me. Controls, which one is it? This one, pick block. I've set it to my mouse wheel, so I can just, for example, if I break that and don't have it, I just go bang and have it. So yeah, so pistons, so both the pistons sort of have the same behaviour. So the easiest way is a direct powering. However, as soon as you go like that, it's not being directly diverted to this, so it will go away. So the easiest way of powering a redstone, it is by placing this. So what happens is redstone powers the block it's on and the block beneath. So what's happened is it's powering this block and that's going through to this block. or to the piston, and the piston's getting extended. I need to be better at this. I'm not sure if it works. I don't really use it if it works, but see, it's going in there. It's not being powered here because it has to be in the area. It can't go diagonally. It has to be touching one of the faces, like that. But then yeah, if I place on top, oh god, I've accidentally created a bud switch. So the principle of a bud switch is all about powering. I'll tell you that in another video because it gets complicated. Move that. Let's try this. It's going to create a bud switch. There you go. No. There you go. So this is powering this block, which powers that block. So yeah, it's a little bit easy. Same with this. Same with the piston. All the same rules apply. The only other annoying thing that you might discover when you come across pistons is when you want to power. So this is, I'll tell you in a minute about powering it through. Sometimes it goes really weird. I'm not sure what's happening here. It might be a different configuration. Let's try this. No, I have no idea. I'll end up showing you one day accidentally. Yeah, I have no idea what's wrong. But yeah, sometimes it just screws up like that. So blocks. So yeah, you're going to be building everything on a block, and there's a couple of properties you need to know. So by default, most solid blocks, redstone will climb, and it will also go down, not climb. I'm not sure what the opposite to climbing is, so that you can do it. It doesn't go vertically and stuff, unfortunately, so you can't go up. Next thing, place them down there. So yeah, if you goes all the way up and over, and then you can place one going through, and that funky doodah. It seems rushed. I don't know why. I'm rushing it because I want to show you all the good fun stuff. Other properties is you can power them. So powering gets a little bit confusing, and it does get annoying as well because you end up accidentally powering stuff. So to power a block, it has to be, I'm not sure, it doesn't have to be directly. There you go, just to demonstration. So you can't power it by placing a torch there. You can power it when you do that. I'm not sure if it works when you do. No, it doesn't work. So it has to be a direct route in. And then what happens is the redstone powers this block, and then what you can do with repeaters is drag the power out of that block and put it in and pass it on. Oh, it's getting dark now. But that configuration also works vice versa. So if you power this, it will power this redstone. So it doesn't work like that. But as soon as you have, one repeater on one end, it will work. You can also power blocks with torches on top, and one thing you'll see later on in another tutorial is that torches placed on a block will have the different state that what's being the power fed into the block. So if there's no power being fed into a block, it will be on, but as soon as there's power being fed into the block it is upon, it will do it. So it will change state. So one of the most useful logic gates, so logic gates like different things that help people. I'm not sure entirely, I can't define logic gates. I do electronics but I can't define it. So yeah, one of the most useful logic gates out there is the NOT gate. So what's happening is the torch is powering the redstone, redstone's powering the block, and the torch upon the block is reading that this block is being powered. So it takes the opposite state, which is off, and as soon as I remove that, it goes like that. So you end up with some pretty funky stuff, and you can do that, and that went wrong because it's not being powered like that, and you end up getting a pulsing thing. And then yeah, torches only last 8 pulses within 0.1, no, 8 pulses of 0.1 of a 1 tick. So it pulses, if it pulses at a 1 tick rate, or yeah, it's pulsing at 1 tick rate I think, and then a block update will cause, there you go, if it pulses at a 1 tick rate, so like I said, a tick is 0.1 of a second, so if it pulses at 1 tick rate, it will pulse for 8 times, and then it will do what's called burning out, where the torch just doesn't work anymore type thing. And the way to fix it is to do what's called a block update, and yeah, sometimes it's just random, it does go on It's a little bit weird. But yeah, a block update is basically when you're placing or removing or changing the state of any. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, no. Changing the state of a block. So changing the state, it will cause that. So the block update block we're updating here is this one. Don't think it works. Yeah, it's this torch. Because when you place a block it reads the around. I'm not sure entirely how the coding works. It reads the blocks to the faces, and it will cause changes in them depending on what the block is. So yeah, when you place this block, it causes a block update saying, hang on, this torch is not powered here, but it's not permitting a power. It's not on, so we need to update the torch. So this gets powered, it gets turned off, and then ticks for 8 times, and then it'll get turned off. So yeah, it gets a little bit repetitive. It's one of those things you just learn, and then you'll never forget. So that's block. Other things, you can power blocks by torches, sort of like that. So you can't. I think you can actually. No, yeah, you can't power blocks. It has to be basically touching a torch type idea. So you can't power a torch like this, but you can power a torch by putting there, and then let's just say we put a torch up there, down, and like that. So what's happening here is this block is being powered even. So I don't even need that torch. This block is being powered. This redstone is going, hang on, there's a power in there. We can drag it out. What's happening is this redstone is then powering this block, and then the repeater is then pulling it out of this block and putting it into the wire. So it gets a little bit complicated and stuff, but you just get used to it after a while of doing it. So then we go on to the lovely and wonderful glowstone, possibly the most awkward block in the game. So glowstone has some very weird properties compared to normal glass. So there's primarily I don't know, 2 types of blocks in the redstone world. So there's solid, which redstone applies for. So look, you can do that and place a torch up there and stuff. And then there's transparent, which redstone absolutely hates. So you cannot place redstone items on top of it. And by, let's just unlink that. And it doesn't pass through. Redstone doesn't pass through. And the way it mainly works is it's the rule of transparency. So if the block is transparent, it will not pass through. So chests, I'm not sure, there's some weird. So for example, enchanting table, it has this transparent bit around the top, so it doesn't pass through. Stairs, I think it does. No, it does pass through melons. There you go, learned something today. So you can create a melon detection destroying system. That is a brilliant idea. We're going to use that. That's going to be a first thing we're going to make, legitly. There we go. You got to remind me about that because I will forget. Doesn't pass through minecarts because they're an entity. That's something you'll learn later. Well, entities are basically, I don't know, I give up. So it passes through crafting benches, which I know it did because I actually accidentally did one. It doesn't pass through chests though because it's got this air of transparency. And the last one I want to check is furnaces. I don't think it passes through no, it does pass through furnaces. And then the weird thing is that it also passes through dispensers, but then with dispensers, once it's powered by redstone, it will dispense something. So that's why I don't know why I have those in there, but there you go. It dispenses those, and I've accidentally set it up so it does the double posts. Fuck that. Do it I didn't swear, did I? Do it the boring way. So yeah, glowstone is awkward because it's sort of a mix between both a solid block and a transparent block, in the way that you can place redstone on top of it, so we can power it like that and it will go through. However, it's transparent in the fact that we can't draw power from it or put power through it, like so. And then we start getting into really strange properties of redstone can go up it, but redstone cannot go. The powered redstone can go up, but it cannot go down, which is a very awkward one. It's not this. So yeah, it can't go down. But then you can do that. Then I've seen you can like make block updaters using this, but it only works directions, and that's something else. It also has this weird sort of stacking effect type thing, so that if we power here, I don't know why I did that. We power this bit, and I'm not entirely sure, but this block gets powered. So it's like it goes up, like with the pistons. It's like that, except it's a block, and then you can work all your way up. So see, it won't power this. That's being powered because the redstone is powering this. I don't entirely know how, but yeah. See, it's all dependent on the way of the redstone and stuff. It does get a little bit tedious and frustrating. What else is there to know? So yeah, you can't place it through. I've probably missed something, and I'll probably end up mentioning it. Don't know. I need to sneeze. Oh, I just paused it whilst I sneezed. Ugh, they're showing him up. Okay. Anything else? I'll end up realising it. It seems so unprofessional not knowing what. Yeah. So there's also block radius, powering radius. So if I powered this, it only powered that. If I placed a block there though, it will power the one beyond, but it won't power this one. And then see, look, it's not because it's that, it's just how it works. So what happens is with pistons is like without power, that's a solid block, but as soon as you place it there, it becomes a transparent block, and the properties change. So I don't actually think, yeah, so it's impossible to try and get this to be powered, because as soon as this block gets powered, it becomes a transparent one, transparent block. You might be able to create a zero tick with it, I don't know. Can we see? No, you can't. And yeah, so it's impossible to power it. Don't know why I didn't destroy this. Let's destroy it. Boom, 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 boom. Dispensers, there's nothing much to know about them. They basically behave the same way as pistons do. So yeah, if I just give you a quick demonstration of, see, it's a little bit weird. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but that only powers 2, but if you place a block there, it will power the 3rd. That won't power it there, but you can then create this weird T formation, and that will power all of them. And then doing something we'll learn next time, which is a logic gate of that. It will change the state and then do all of those. So yeah, so I think that's, oh yeah, because it's transparent, you can dig through. Destroying the end bits classes the thing, and I think that's all. Oh yeah, the one annoying thing with redstone, I might end up trying to find a mod for it if it works, but when in creative, when you destroy something, it doesn't do a drop, but then when you destroy the block below it, if it relies on the block on top, it will then create a drop, so you end up getting full inventory. And I tend to have lava pits with me, I don't know why, but because I get frustrated with having like 64 torches, 64 redstone, 64 repeaters, and all the other types and stuff. It just gets annoying. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, favourite, subscribe for more redstone, and leave in the comments if I've missed anything out, or if you want me to do something specific. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.